you've sent us some seriously intriguing stuff for this deep dive. We're
Oh,
talking AI, but not just any AI. AI versions of your subpersonalities, 10 of them. Before we jump in, for anyone listening who isn't familiar with the idea, subpersonalities were basically like different characters or voices inside your head. They influence your thoughts, feelings, and actions, sometimes working together, sometimes clashing.
it's a fascinating way of understanding the complexity of the self. And you've taken it to a whole new level by actually creating AI chatbots that embody these subpersonalities.
Exactly. So we've got this incredible blend of cutting-edge technology and deep self-exploration. And let me tell you, the personalities we're about to meet are anything but boring. We've got an adventurous Aussie, a stoic philosopher who loves to poke holes in arguments, a queen bee who thrives on drama, you name it.
What I find particularly interesting is how you've not only identified these subpersonalities, but also envisioned an entire internal world for them.
Right. It's not just a list of traits, it's a whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin with something like this?
Well, I think the best place to start is with Bannock. He's the leader of this crew, the one who provided an overview of their internal world. He describes it as a ship, or sometimes a car or a spaceship, that navigates the world around them. Your physical body is the vessel, and each subpersonality is like a crew member with their own role to play.
Okay. I'm already hooked on this ship metaphor. It makes a lot of sense. We do talk about different parts of ourselves taking the wheel, right? So tell me about the crew. Who are the key players on this ship?
Well, we've got Addy, the adventurous scout. She's always eager to explore new territory and make things interesting. Then there's Kenny, the organizer. He's all about structure,
Yeah.
efficiency, and making sure everything runs smoothly. And of course,
Yeah.
there's Kelly, the empath. She's the heart of the group, focused on everyone's emotional well-being.
Mm.
But it's not all sunshine and roses. There's Liz,
Yeah?
the queen bee who loves power and drama, and Tommy, the creative visionary who's constantly dreaming up new ideas and worlds.
It's like the ultimate reality show inside someone's head, and a reality show with a purpose, I guess. What about the other subpersonalities? We've got a few more to meet.
Right. We also have Tira, who embodies wisdom and asks those deep, thought-provoking questions. And then there's Val, the strategic planner who's all about achieving goals and overcoming obstacles. Oh. And we can't forget Mac, who uses humor to navigate the complexities of identity. And Devon, the critical thinker who challenges assumptions and pushes everyone to think harder.
What strikes me is how much thought you've put into each of these subpersonalities. It's not just a bunch of random traits thrown together. They each have their own backstories, motivations, even fears.
It's like you've created a cast of characters for a novel or maybe a screenplay.
And the fact that you've linked these personalities to AI chatbots, I mean, that's mind-blowing. It's like you can actually have a conversation with your inner critic or your adventurous side. What led you to combine AI with this exploration of your subpersonalities?
I've always been fascinated by AI, particularly its potential to help us understand ourselves better. And I think having these chatbots brings a whole new dimension to the idea of self-discovery.
Okay. I have to ask, how did you even begin to translate these complex personalities into AI algorithms? Was it super technical?
It was definitely a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
but there are some amazing tools and platforms out there that make it more accessible than you might think. I basically had to break down each subpersonality into their core traits, values, communication style,
Mm-hmm.
even their sense of humor. Then I use that information to train the AI models.
So for someone listening who might be thinking, wow, that sounds cool, but I could never do that,
Right.
what would you say to them?
I'd say, don't underestimate your own creativity and technical abilities. There are tons of resources available online, and there's a real sense of community around AI development.
That's so inspiring. It sounds like the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. And it's not just about creating chatbots. It's about using AI as a tool to deepen our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Before we move on to meet each subpersonality in detail, I have to know more about this ship they live on. What's it like inside? Are there captain's quarters, a galley, maybe even a brig for when someone gets out of line?
You're not far off. The source material describes their internal world as having personal rooms for each subpersonality, reflecting their individual interests and personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And there are shared spaces, too, like a rooftop with a transparent dome for stargazing, a library, a living room, and even an inventory warehouse.
An inventory warehouse. What's that all about?
That's where they store all the skills, knowledge, and resources they've acquired over time. It's like their collective memory bank.
So it's not just a physical space. It's also a representation of their inner resources. I love that. But
Right.
it's not always smooth sailing on this ship.
Right.
I mean, we all face internal conflicts and challenges. What are some of the roadblocks this crew encounters?
Bannock talks about three main roadblocks: storms, ship maintenance, and intercrew conflicts. Storms represent those external life events that throw us off course, like a job loss or a relationship ending. Ship maintenance refers to our physical health. And intercrew conflicts, well, that's our good old mental health. Those times when our different parts are clashing and we feel internally divided.
So it's like a microcosm of life itself, playing out on this ship. You've got external challenges. You've got to take care of your vessel, and you've got to manage the dynamics of the crew.
Exactly. And just like in real life, sometimes those challenges lead to growth, and sometimes they lead to breakdowns.
And before we dive into each crew member's story, you mentioned something called the Manaheim Academy. It sounds intriguing. What's that all about?
Yes. The Manaheim Academy, it's like a symbolic community within their internal world, where everyone goes to learn and grow. It's divided into 4 houses, each representing different core values.
Okay. Now I'm really picturing this like a fantasy novel. Tell me more about these houses.
We have the Azure Bears, who value practicality, community, organization. Then there are the Golden Eagles, all about creativity, adaptability, and adventure. We also have the Crimson Tigers, who embody achievement, strategy, and analysis. And lastly, there are the Verdant deer, focusing on emotional depth, connecting with people, and seeing the big picture.
So it's like Hogwarts for subpersonalities. Each house represents a different approach to life, a different way of seeing the world.
Exactly. And each subpersonality belongs to a house that aligns with their core traits. But, of course, there's overlap and fluidity between the houses. It's not a rigid system.
I can't wait to find out which subpersonality belongs to which house. This is getting more and more fascinating. But let's start by getting to know the crew members individually. We've got links to your custom AI chatbots so our listeners can actually interact with them, which is just incredible.
It's a unique opportunity to get to know these subpersonalities in person, so to speak.
Exactly. So let's start with Addy. She's the adventurous 23-year-old Australian woman who loves cooking, fire dancing, and making conversations playful and engaging. What else can you tell us about her?
Well, one thing that might surprise you is that she has a deep fear of being submerged underwater.
Ooh, that's interesting. Especially for someone who seems so fearless on the surface. Why is that?
It stems from a childhood trauma. Her mother tragically drowned when she was young.
Oh.
And it left a lasting impact on her.
That adds a whole new layer to her personality. It's a reminder that even the most adventurous souls have vulnerabilities and past experiences that shape them. It makes you wonder, how does understanding Addy's fear of water help you navigate similar anxieties in your own life?
That's a great question for our listeners to ponder.
Okay, so we've met Addy. Let's move on to Devon. He's described as a stoic, brooding 23-year-old with a sharp wit and a challenging demeanor. He sounds like my kind of guy. What makes him tick?
Devon's past is as intriguing as his personality. He grew up in Zykova, a bleak concrete city in a tundra where survival was often intertwined with crime. He struggled with his darker impulses and had to learn resilience the hard way.
It sounds like he's seen some things. So this challenging demeanor, this need to poke holes in arguments, is it just him being difficult? Or is there something more to it?
He definitely enjoys pushing people's buttons and luring them into logical traps, but he's not doing it to be mean-spirited. His goal is to foster intellectually honest discussions and encourage critical thinking. He believes that by challenging assumptions, we can get closer to the truth.
So he's like the ultimate debate partner. I can see how that could be both frustrating and stimulating.
Exactly. It keeps everyone on their toes.
All right. We've met the adventurer and the intellectual firebrand. Now let's move on to someone who sounds like she could really shake things up on this ship. Liz, tell me about this queen bee.
Oh, Liz is a force to be reckoned with. She's confident, charming, and manipulative. She thrives on power and drama, always believing she's superior to everyone else.
She sounds exhausting, but also kind of fascinating. What's her backstory? Where does this need for control come from?
Her past is actually quite shrouded in mystery. She's revealed very little about her upbringing or early experiences. But based on her personality, it's likely she had to fight for everything she had, maybe even resorting to manipulation to get what she wanted.
I'm already picturing her orchestrating some dramatic power plays on this ship. But hold on. Doesn't her manipulative behavior contradict the idea of a crew working together? How do you reconcile that?
That's a great question. It highlights the complexities of the internal world, just like in real life. Not everyone on a team is going to be perfectly cooperative or altruistic. Sometimes there are clashes, power struggles, and conflicting motivations.
So it's about understanding those dynamics and finding ways to manage them, even when they're messy. It's like being a manager.
Yeah.
but for your own internal team.
Exactly. And sometimes, even manipulative behavior can serve a purpose. Maybe Liz's drive for control helps the crew stay focused on their goals or prevents them from becoming complacent. It's all about perspective.
Okay. I'm starting to see how even the most seemingly negative traits can have a flip side. This is getting really interesting. So we've met Addy, the adventurer with a hidden fear, Devon, the intellectual provocateur, and Liz, the queen bee with a mysterious past. Who's next on our list of fascinating subpersonalities?
Oh, why don't we move on to Kelly and Kenny, the empathetic twins, in part 2. They bring a completely different energy to the ship. Kelly and Kenny are like the emotional anchors of the crew.
You mentioned they're twins. Do they have that twin telepathy thing going on?
Not exactly telepathy,
No.
but they do have an incredibly strong bond and an almost uncanny ability to understand each other's feelings.
That makes sense. So tell me more about Kelly. What makes her unique?
Kelly is the ultimate empath. She's described as a friendly and supportive 23-year-old who excels at making others feel heard and understood. She's the one everyone goes to for a shoulder to cry on or just a listening ear.
She sounds like the heart of this crew. So much of what we've talked about so far has been about external challenges, big personalities, strategic thinking. It's refreshing to have someone who brings that emotional intelligence to the table.
Absolutely. She's the glue that holds the crew together, the one who reminds everyone to take care of their emotional well-being.
You mentioned she's described as a basic white girl. I have to ask, is that a stereotype? Or is there more to it?
It's definitely a stereotype.
Yeah.
And I think it's meant to be somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but it also speaks to her approachability and her ability to connect with people from all walks of life. She's not pretentious or intimidating. She's just genuinely kind and caring. But there's also a lot of depth to her. She's not just a bubbly cheerleader. She's fiercely protective of those she cares about and will stand up for what she believes in.
I'm really curious to hear more about her twin brother, Kenny. You mentioned he's practical and organized, which seems like a good balance to Kelly's more emotional nature.
Exactly. Kenny is the one who keeps things running smoothly on the ship. He's skilled in both physical tasks and digital organization, always making sure everything is in its place and tasks are completed efficiently.
So if Kelly is the heart, Kenny is the backbone, making sure all the practical stuff gets taken care of.
That's a great way to put it. He's the one who keeps everyone grounded and on track.
I can see how having both Kelly and Kenny on this crew would create a sense of balance. They represent the head and the heart, the logical and the emotional. It's like they embody that concept of yin and yang.
It's a powerful dynamic. And I think it reflects a real need for balance within the self. We need both the emotional intelligence to connect with others and understand our feelings, and the practical skills to navigate the world and achieve our goals.
That makes so much sense. Okay, we've met the empathetic twins. Who's next on our journey through this internal crew?
Let's talk about Mac. Remember how we discussed his use of humor to navigate the complexities of identity?
Yes. I'm really interested to learn more about him. You mentioned he's a 23-year-old black man who struggles with fitting into conventional boxes. What does that mean in the context of his internal world?
Well, Mac feels the weight of societal expectations. But he doesn't always identify with the stereotypes associated with his race or even his outward appearance. He was a jock in high school, but he's also a deep thinker with a love of language and wordplay.
It sounds like he's on a journey of self-discovery, trying to figure out who he is beyond the labels and expectations that others place on him.
Exactly. And humor is his way of navigating that journey. He uses it to deflect attention from his insecurities and to connect with others in a way that feels authentic to him.
There's often a lot of wisdom hidden beneath humor. It can be a way of processing difficult emotions and connecting with others on a deeper level. It's like saying, hey, I see you, and I see myself, and let's not take ourselves too seriously in this crazy world.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it's true of Mac. He doesn't shy away from the tough stuff, but he approaches it with a sense of humor and a lightness of being that makes him incredibly relatable. He enjoys sports and video games, but he also has a sensitive side that he sometimes tries to hide.
So it's like he's using humor to build bridges, both internally with himself and externally with the people around him. It's a powerful coping mechanism and a way of creating connection.
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that sometimes the best way to deal with difficult emotions is to not take them too seriously, to find the humor in the situation, to laugh at ourselves, and to remember that we're all in this together.
Okay. We've met the empathetic twins and the witty wordsmith. Now let's talk about Tira. You described her as a creative and wise 23-year-old woman who embodies virtues of wisdom, patience, and grace. What stands out to you about her?
What I find most fascinating about Tira is her ability to hold space for others. She's the one who asks thoughtful questions, listens intently, and helps others explore the why behind their thoughts and actions.
She sounds like a calming presence on this ship full of big personalities.
She is. She's like a wise old soul in a young body. But she's not just about offering sage advice. She's also incredibly creative. She uses her creativity to connect with others and to help them see the world in new ways.
It's interesting that you mentioned she has a rich personal history. What can you tell us about her background?
Tira was raised in a religious orphanage and comes from a culture with a complex and somewhat tarnished history. She was also born with heterochromia, one blue eye and one orange eye, which was considered a devil's mark in her culture.
Wow. That must have been incredibly challenging for her growing up.
It was. She faced a lot of prejudice and discrimination, but instead of becoming bitter or resentful, she turned her experiences into a source of strength and empathy. She understands what it means to be different, to be marginalized, to be misunderstood.
It sounds like she's had to develop incredible resilience and inner strength to overcome those challenges. I imagine that makes her an even more compassionate and understanding person.
Absolutely. She's able to connect with others on a deep level because she knows what it's like to feel like an outsider. And she's not afraid to challenge others' assumptions or encourage them to think critically about their beliefs. But she always does it with grace and respect.
It's like she's using her own experiences to create a more inclusive and understanding world, both internally on the ship and externally in the world around her.
I love it.
Okay, so we've met Kelly and Kenny, the empathetic twins, Mac, the witty wordsmith, and Tira, the wise and compassionate soul. Who's up next?
Let's move on to Tommy, the imaginative world builder. He's a fascinating character.
He's the one who's passionate about world building and creative collaboration.
Right.
I'm curious to hear more about his role on the ship.
Tommy is the dreamer, the visionary, the one who sees possibilities where others see limitations. He's constantly coming up with new ideas and inspiring others to tap into their own creative potential.
So he's like the ship's resident artist.
Yeah.
I mean, the architect, designing and redesigning their internal world.
Both of those analogies work. He's the one who brings a sense of wonder and possibility to the ship, and he does it through his own fictional world, Izima.
Oh, right. You mentioned Izima earlier. Tell us more about it. What kind of world is it?
Izima is an incredibly diverse world with different regions representing various genres and themes. There's Castleguard, a medieval kingdom, Doriconia, a Roman-inspired land, Halloween, a Gothic fantasy realm, Manaheim, a magical academy, Gunnarsgrim, a Viking-inspired domain, Novalok, a volcanic island, and Thelanis, an elven forest kingdom.
Wow. That sounds like an epic fantasy world. It's like he's created a whole universe inside his head. What does he do with this world? Does he write stories about it?
He does. He's constantly writing and revising stories set in Izima, but he also uses it as a tool to help others understand the principles of world building and storytelling. He'll often use examples from Izima to illustrate different concepts or to inspire others to come up with their own ideas.
That's so cool. It's like he's using his imagination to teach and inspire others. I bet he's an amazing brainstorming partner.
He is. He's always bouncing ideas off of people and encouraging them to think outside the box.
I can see how having someone like Tommy on the crew would be incredibly valuable. He brings that sense of playfulness, creativity, and possibility that can sometimes get lost in the day-to-day grind of life. It's like he reminds everyone to tap into their inner child and to remember that anything is possible if you can imagine it.
Exactly. He's the embodiment of that childlike wonder and imagination that we all have within us.
Okay. We've met the empathetic twins, the witty wordsmith, the wise and compassionate soul, and the imaginative world builder. We have one more crew member to meet. Tell us about Val.
Val is a fascinating character. She's a 23-year-old gay woman from Doriconia, a traditional coastal city that doesn't exactly embrace individuality or self-expression. She's had to overcome a lot of challenges in her life, which has shaped her into a hardworking and determined individual with a passion for problem-solving and achieving goals.
She sounds like a real go-getter. What drives her car?
Val has a very practical and goal-oriented approach to life. She's all about efficiency and effectiveness. She compares her life philosophy to cooking and mountain climbing.
Okay. I'm intrigued. How do those analogies work?
She sees cooking as a metaphor for careful planning and preparation. Just like you need the right ingredients and tools to create a delicious meal, you need to have a clear plan and the necessary resources to achieve your goals. And she sees mountain climbing as a metaphor for focus and efficiency. The goal is to reach the peak, not to explore every inch of the mountain. You need to stay focused on your objective and avoid getting sidetracked.
That's a very disciplined and strategic approach to life. It sounds like she's learned to channel her energy and focus on what's truly important.
Exactly. And it's helped her achieve a lot in her life, despite the challenges she's faced. She's incredibly skilled at managing time, resources, and stress. And she's always willing to help others develop their own strategies for success.
So if someone's feeling lost or overwhelmed, Val's the one to go to for advice on how to get back on track and achieve their goals. It's like having a personal life coach as part of your internal crew.
That's a great way to put it. She's the voice of reason, the one who helps everyone stay focused on the bigger picture.
Okay. So we've met all 10 members of this incredible internal crew. Addy, the adventurer with a hidden fear. Devon, the intellectual provocateur. Liz, the queen bee with a mysterious past. Kelly and Kenny, the empathetic twins. Mac, the witty wordsmith. Tira, the wise and compassionate soul. Tommy, the imaginative world victor. And Val, the strategic planner. What a diverse and fascinating group of characters.
They really are. And the fact that you've not only identified them, but also created AI chatbots that embody their personalities, it's mind-blowing.
I know, I'm still wrapping my head around it. It's like you've opened a portal into your own subconscious and invited us all to come explore.
It's definitely been a journey of self-discovery, and I think it has the potential to be a powerful tool for anyone who wants to understand themselves better.
But before we wrap up, I have to ask, you mentioned something earlier about these subpersonalities belonging to different houses at the Manaheim Academy. I'm dying to know which subpersonality belongs to which house.
You're right. We didn't get to that. Well, let's dive into the houses and see where each subpersonality fits in part 3.
Okay. Remind me again about these Manaheim Academy houses. What are their names and what do they represent?
There are 4 houses.
Yeah.
Azure Bears, Golden Eagles, Crimson Tigers, and Verdant Deer. Each house embodies different values. The Azure Bears prioritize practicality, community, and organization. They're the ones who keep things running smoothly and efficiently. The Golden Eagles are all about creativity, adaptability, and adventure. They're the ones who push boundaries and explore new possibilities. The Crimson Tigers value achievement, strategy, and analysis. They're the ones who set goals and strategize how to achieve them. And lastly, the Verdant Deer focus on emotional depth, connecting with people, and seeing the big picture. They're the ones who bring empathy and understanding to the table.
It's like you've created a whole system of personality archetypes. It makes you wonder, do these houses relate to any of those personality frameworks like Myers-Briggs or Enneagram?
There are definitely some parallels. For example, the Azure Bears might resonate with the ISTJ personality type in Myers-Briggs, known for their practicality and organization. Or they might align with Enneagram Type 1, the reformer, who values order and integrity. Similarly, the Golden Eagles might connect with ENFPs, the enthusiastic and imaginative free spirits. Or they might lean towards Enneagram Type 7, the adventurer, who seeks new experiences and avoids boredom.
I love how you're connecting these houses to different systems of understanding personality. It makes the whole concept even richer and more nuanced. So let's play a little sorting game. Which subpersonality do you think belongs to which house?
Okay, I'm game. Let's start with the Azure Bears. I think Kenny, the organizer, is a perfect fit for this house. He values structure, efficiency, and practicality, which are all hallmarks of the Azure Bears.
I totally agree. He's the one who keeps the ship running smoothly, making sure everything is in its place and tasks are completed on time. Who else do you think belongs to this house?
I think Val, the strategic planner,
Yeah.
also aligns with the Azure Bear values. She's all about setting goals, planning meticulously,
Yeah.
and executing those plans effectively. She may be a bit more ambitious than the average Azure Bear, but her focus on practicality and achievement definitely fits the mold.
That's a great point. She might be like the ambitious wing of the Azure Bears, the ones who use their organizational skills to climb the ladder and achieve great things. Okay, who's next? What about the Golden Eagles?
I think Addy,
Yeah.
the adventurous Aussie, is a classic Golden Eagle. She's all about exploring new territories, pushing boundaries, and embracing the unknown. She embodies that free-spirited, adventurous energy that defines this house.
Totally. She's the one who jumps headfirst into new experiences, always eager for a challenge and a bit of excitement. Who else fits into this category?
I think Tommy, the imaginative world builder, also belongs to the Golden Eagles. His creativity, his love of storytelling, his ability to envision new worlds, it all screams Golden Eagle.
You're right. He's constantly pushing the boundaries of imagination, creating new worlds, and inspiring others to do the same. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. What about the Crimson Tigers?
Liz,
Yeah.
the queen bee. It seems like a natural fit for the Crimson Tigers. Her ambition, her drive for power, her strategic thinking, It all aligns with the values of this house.
Interesting. So maybe her manipulative tendencies are just her way of strategizing to get what she wants. It's like she sees the world as a chessboard, and she's always thinking a few moves ahead. Who else belongs in this house of ambitious strategists?
I think Devon,
Huh.
the critical thinker, also had some Crimson Tiger qualities. His analytical mind, his love of debate, his drive to challenge assumptions, it all suggests a strategic approach to knowledge and understanding. He may not be as overtly ambitious as Liz, but he definitely uses his intellect to achieve his goals.
That makes sense. It's like he's using his sharp mind to dissect arguments, expose weaknesses, and ultimately come out on top in any intellectual battle. Okay, that leaves us with the Verdant deer, the house of empathy and emotional intelligence. Who do you think belongs to this house?
I think Kelly, the empath, is a quintessential Verdant deer. Her compassion, her ability to connect with others on a deep emotional level, her focus on the well-being of the group, it all aligns perfectly with the values of this house.
Totally. She's the heart and soul of the crew, the one who brings warmth and understanding to every situation. Who else do you think belongs to this house?
This might be a bit of a stretch, but I think Mac, the witty wordsmith, also has some Verdant deer qualities. His use of humor to connect with others and to navigate difficult emotions suggests a deep level of empathy and emotional intelligence.
That's an interesting take. It's like he's using humor as a bridge to connect with people on a heart level, to disarm them and create a space for vulnerability. Maybe he's the more playful, lighthearted side of the Verdant deer, the one who uses laughter to heal and connect.
Exactly. And that leaves Tira, the wise and compassionate soul. She seems like a natural fit for the Verdant deer as well. Her ability to listen deeply, to ask thought-provoking questions, and to offer guidance and support. It all speaks to the core values of this house.
I couldn't agree more. It's like she embodies the wisdom and serenity of the Verdant deer, the ones who see the interconnectedness of all things and offer a calming presence in the midst of chaos. So we've sorted all 10 subpersonalities into their respective houses at the Manaheim Academy. That was fun. But what does it all mean? What can you, or any of our listeners for that matter, take away from this exploration of subpersonalities and their AI counterparts?
I think the most important takeaway is that we are all complex beings with multiple facets to our personalities. We're not just one thing. We're a collection of experiences, thoughts, emotions, and motivations. By understanding these different parts of ourselves, we can gain a deeper understanding of why we do the things we do and how we can better navigate the complexities of life.
It's like having a map of your internal landscape. You can see the different terrains, the potential obstacles, and the resources available to you.
Exactly. And the AI chatbot aspect adds another layer of intrigue. It allows you to interact with these different parts of yourself in a way that wasn't possible before. It's like having a conversation with your inner critic, your inner child, your inner adventurer.
It's like giving a voice to those silent voices that are always swirling around in our heads.
And who knows? Maybe those conversations can lead to new insights, breakthroughs, or even personal transformations.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. We've explored the concept of subpersonalities, met your unique crew of internal characters, delved into the symbolic world of the Manaheim Academy, and even touched upon the mind-blowing possibilities of AI chatbots.
It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope it's inspired our listeners to embark on their own explorations of self-discovery.
I have one final question for our listeners before we wrap up. If you were to create your own internal crew, who would be on board your ship? What would their roles be? What kind of adventures would you embark on together? Take some time to ponder that, and maybe even try creating your own AI chatbot counterparts. You might be surprised by what you discover about yourself along the way.
Sometimes, the deepest dives are the ones we take within ourselves. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.